This is the weekly sales meeting for August 9th, 2026. My name is Chris Fleming. You can reach me at chris@cdmediaconsulting.com or go to our website at cdmediaconsulting.com. Today's topic, win the morning, win the day. It almost sounds like a motivational poster, but behind the short line is a deep body of research, real-world behavior, and lived experience from high performers across business, sports, and the sales profession. In outside sales, mornings are not just the start of the day. They are the setup. They determine pace and tone. They determine your confidence and dictate your enthusiasm and follow-through. What happens before noon often decides what happens by 5 o'clock. This is not opinion. It is pattern, data, and discipline working together. Successful people have always understood the power of the morning. Benjamin Franklin wrote, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." That is our reality. The morning is when distractions are lowest, willpower is highest, and the calendar is most honest. Once the day fills up, your control slips away. In the selling world, interruptions are constant and rejection is normal. Because of this, your mornings become sacred ground. It is where momentum is built or lost. Most sellers underestimate how much mental energy is spent deciding what to do next. Every decision drains focus. That is why routines dictate your pathway and your success. When the morning has structure, energy is preserved for selling. When the morning is loose and full of distractions and chaos, energy leaks away. Research on decision fatigue proves this, but sellers feel it without having to read someone else's case study. Late day hesitation often begins with early day indecision. You do not lose deals in the afternoon. You set the loss in motion before breakfast. Psychologist Roy Baumeister studied willpower and decision-making. His research showed that self-control is strongest early in the day and weakens as decisions pile up. This concept is often called decision fatigue. The more choices you are required to make, the worse your judgment becomes. In sales terms, that means your best thinking happens early. If you wait till late afternoon to make important calls, plan strategy, or face resistance, you are doing it when your mental edge is at its dullest point. Winning sellers do hard things early because they understand this truth, and they understand it even if they have never read the research. Morning routines create consistency. Consistency creates confidence. Confidence shows up in our conversations. That connection is important. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that employees who start their day with structured routines report higher focus and better performance. This structure reduces anxiety. When you know what you are doing, when you are doing it, your brain gets a chance to relax. That calm shows up in your voice. Your customers can feel it. Professional athletes understand this better than most salespeople. Elite performers do not roll out of bed and hope for a good game. They warm up, they stretch out, they visualize performances, and rehearse execution. Michael Phelps followed the same pre-race routine for years. He visualized his race every morning and every night. When pressure hit, his body and mind already knew what to do. Professional selling is no different. The seller who wins in the morning has already rehearsed success before the first call is made. Your calendar tells the truth about your priorities. This is not about your intentions, and it has nothing to do with your goals. This is your calendar, and you should guard it to protect your time resources. If mornings are filled with email, internal meetings, and administrative tasks, you have handed your best hours to the lowest value work. That is not discipline. You have set your best hours adrift. High-performing sellers guard mornings for revenue-producing activity. This is the time for calls, appointments, prospecting, and preparation. These are not squeezed in and when time allows. They are protected first. Before something occupies this most valuable of space, ask yourself, how does this help me sell more advertising? If it doesn't belong in these high-value time slots. The Harvard Business Review published research showing that people who schedule their most important tasks early are significantly more likely to complete them. The reason is simple. The day has not had time to derail you yet. Once fires start popping up, the day becomes reactive. In outside sales, reactive days rarely lead to big wins. The wins happen when you protect your most valuable time blocks. Sales managers see this pattern when they look at performance with a sense of honesty. Sellers who say they are too busy to prospect are often busy with the wrong things. They spend mornings answering email. They attend meetings that do not move revenue. By noon, they are mentally tired. They are drained or exhausted as they occupied their mental capacity with taxing but non-revenue producing activities. Prospecting gets pushed to tomorrow, but tomorrow's time block never arrives. Winning the morning is not about waking up early for the sake of it. It is about owning the first part of the day for intentional execution. There is also a biological component. Cortisol, the hormone tied to alertness, peaks in the morning. That is when your brain is naturally sharper. John Medina is a molecular biologist and science writer. He is best known for translating brain science into practical everyday language. He specializes in how the human brain processes information, learns, remembers, and reacts under stress. In his book, Brain Rules, he demonstrates that memory, focus, and learning are the strongest earlier in the day for most adults. If you are asking buyers for attention, commitment, or change, you want to bring your sharpest version of yourself. That version shows up best in the morning. Peter Drucker said, "Until we can manage time, we can manage nothing else." Time management starts with mornings. You cannot control everything in a sales day. However, you can control how it starts. And how it starts sets the tone for your day. Your daily tone becomes part of your behavior, and then that behavior translates to the results. Outside sales adds another layer. Rejection is part of the job. Your morning reset helps to buffer that. When you start the day with purpose, rejection feels less impactful. When you wander into the day unprepared, rejection feels 100% personal. A study in the Academy of Management Journal found that employees who begin the day with clear goals and a clear path are more resilient in relation to these temporary setbacks. They recover faster and stay more engaged. In the sales profession, this resilience is valuable currency. You must admit what actually drives results. It is not organizing files. It is not tweaking proposals. It is not internal meetings. Revenue comes from conversations. Conversations come from contact. Contact requires courage. That is why it must happen early. If you leave hard work for later, later never comes. Later shows up tired, distracted, and compromised. Morning shows up clean and capable. Use this time to accomplish your most promising tasks for the day, the ones with a direct link to revenue. Winning the morning also forces prioritization. You cannot do everything at once. You choose what matters most. That choice is revealing. Sellers who start with email reveal that approval matters more than progress. Sellers who start with cat videos on social media reveal comfort matters more than outcomes. Sellers who start with outreach reveal that they understand the job. Your calendar is a direct reflection of your personal trust. There is a compounding effect to early discipline. When you start strong, you move with confidence. That confidence carries into meetings. You are not hoping something breaks your way. You already created progress. Your customers will sense that. They respond to sellers who sound grounded and confident, not rushed. Calm confidence is contagious. It begins with preparation and execution before the world starts pulling at you. Winning the morning also builds momentum. Momentum is psychological. When you accomplish something early, your brain releases dopamine. That chemical reinforces behavior. You feel progress. You want more of it. That is why early wins matter. When you stack accomplishment in your mornings, you get energy and a dopamine drip. Book a call block and complete it. Book a client meeting and get a next step or a close. Book customer follow-up that moves the deal to the next phase. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, wrote, "Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations." Morning habits are the engine of those daily wins. Calendar discipline is where many sellers struggle. They treat the calendar as a suggestion, not a tool. Meetings get added without thought. Prospecting gets bumped. Preparation gets skipped. Then we wonder why results feel inconsistent. Intentional calendar management fixes this. It forces choices. It says this time is reserved for revenue. Revenue generation is your VIP. Other time gets reserved for thinking, and value time is set aside for recovery. When everything has a place, chaos loses power. A study from the University of California found that multitasking and constant task switching reduce productivity by as much as 40%. Mornings are often the only time sellers can work without interruption. Guarding that time protects focus. Focus improves quality. Quality improves outcomes. Great sales leaders build this into culture. They do not schedule internal meetings early unless absolutely necessary. They respect prospecting blocks. They model discipline with their own calendars. This is not about control, it is about standards. Standards create freedom because they remove daily decision making. The decision is already made. Mornings are for winning. In sales conversations, mornings matter for buyers too. Research shows decision makers are more open earlier in the day. A study published in Psychological Science found that judges were more favorable early in sessions and less so as the day wore on. The implication is clear. Mental fatigue affects everyone. Sellers who call early often reach buyers before stress accumulates. These conversations are different. They are calmer. They are more thoughtful. They are productive. When you start behind, the body reacts. Your heart rate rises. Your thinking narrows. Instead of calm control, you are rushed. And when you are in a hurry, you will miss cues from your customers. You will find yourself talking too much. You ask fewer questions. You appear to be chasing your customers instead of leading them. When you are in control of your morning routine, you act to prevent this spiral. It puts you ahead before the day can push you back. There is also a character component. Discipline is a form of self-respect. When you honor your time, others follow suit. Buyers feel it when a seller is organized. They trust it. Trust shortens cycles. Trust increases deal size. Trust is built long before the proposal. It starts with how you show up. This is why top sellers often look calm. It is not because the job is easy. It is because they are prepared early. They already did the hardest work. Everything else feels lighter. As sales trainer Brian Tracy said, eat that frog. Do the hardest thing first. The rest of the day benefits. Winning the morning does not require extreme habits. It requires intentional ones. Review your pipeline. Plan your calls. Set clear targets. Protect call blocks. Avoid email until after real work is done. These actions sound basic. They are. But basic done consistently beats advanced done occasionally. In sales, boring discipline produces exciting results. Gallup research shows that employees who plan their day are more engaged and more productive. Engagement drives performance. Performance drives income. Income follows behavior, not hope. Outside sales rewards those who manage energy, not just time. Mornings are when energy is highest. Spend it wisely. Do not donate it to tasks that do not pay you back. Administrative work will always be there. Sales opportunity will not. Winning the morning also creates margin. When selling is done early, the rest of the day becomes flexible. Client needs do not feel like interruptions. Internal meetings do not feel like threats. You are no longer protecting selling time because it has already happened. That removes stress. Stress makes sellers sloppy. Margin makes them precise. Precision closes business. Win the morning and you stack the odds in your favor. Win enough mornings and the days take care of themselves. My new book, Culture Beats Strategy, 40 Marketplace Lessons for Sellers, is now available on Amazon.com. If you like what you have heard here today, please consider ordering a copy or two. You can always send one to a friend. Go to cdmediaconsulting.com right now and follow the instructions to order.